Lynette with Charm Grammy Crochet. Oh God, don't mind the hair. Welcome to the dining room today. I will apologize for filming in the dining room, but honestly, everything was already down here, and I just didn't want like 45 trips to get it upstairs. The only thing that wasn't down here that I'm going to show you today, or tomorrow, or the next day, because I'm going to make a couple of videos, or else it's going to be way too long. Because you know me, I start to chat, and then I just... excuse me. So, the only thing that wasn't down here was the tripod. Everything else, oh, and one project yarn. So when I got the tripod, I got that yarn. And that was easier than bringing everything else up. So there's going to be a couple of different, avalanche. A couple of different projects in videos. I think I'm going to be, like I said, make a few. So welcome to the yarn room. Thanks for joining me. I want to welcome everyone that's new. I'm so excited that you've joined us. And everyone that's been around for a while, thanks for coming back again and again and again. I appreciate you all so very much. Or else I'm talking to myself out here, which I do that enough anyway. So on today's agenda, we're going to talk about the college girls blankets. Move-in day for Chloe was yesterday. If you're new, you don't know. If you have been around for a while, you know my granddaughter Chloe. She is the oldest of my 4 grandchildren. Granddaughters, all of them. And she is starting her 3rd year at Case Western Reserve University in University Circle. I don't know what is Shaker. Oh, Shaker Heights, maybe, Ohio. Anyway, it's a very nice college. And she was granted a scholarship, so we're so proud of her. She only has to pay for her dorm room and her parking pass. And I think pretty much everything else is covered, so that's awesome for her. We could not be prouder or happier for her. So this is year 3. All 3 years she's living in the dorm, and this year the dorm is upperclassman dorm, so you get a fancier setup. Let's see. Move-in day was yesterday, and I don't know, a month or 6 weeks ago, she said, "Grammy, I would really love it if you would make us a blanket for our couch, because this year we have like a little living room area, and you know, she's friends with all 4 of these girls. They're all her like best friends, and she says, you know, we would do like movie night and stuff, and maybe we would want a big huge blanket on the couch to cuddle up on." And I said, "Oh, that's a great idea. I would love to do that." Well, that turned into a project because I was talking to one of my friends at our campground who said, you know, it would be really cool if they could each have their own blanket, like when you're done somehow. So that, I'm like, yeah, that's a great idea. Then they would have a keepsake from their junior year of college. And like I said, they're 4 best friends, so... And then we decided that they should all be in their favorite colors, and after so much drama, I went through a couple of patterns. This is the 2nd pattern. I tried 4. I started it 4 times. Finally, the 4th time was the charm, not the 3rd time, before I decided this is the pattern, this is the yarn, this is the way I'm doing it. So I ended up doing all of them, 1 blanket per girl, all in their favorite color. And I used Super Saver Ombre as the main color, but the pattern I picked is a pattern by Yarn Inspirations, or Mikey Crochet Crowd. It's on his channel, and I will link it. I don't remember the name of it. And he does this with 4 strands of yarn, 4 strands of 4-weight yarn. I used 2 strands. Now, according to Mikey, when you do it his way, you make the blanket, it's a weekend blanket. And I could see that it would be if you held 4 strands of yarn together and you just sat and make the blanket. You could definitely make it in a weekend. I held 2 strands. I did a border. I don't know if he did a border or what the border was that he did. I did my own thing. and I changed his pattern just a teeny, just to make it more interesting. I think more interesting looking, a little more texture. Uh, but bottom line is, you really probably could, if you just sat, even with the two strands, and just, you crocheted mostly the entire time for a weekend, you probably could whip out the blankets, each blanket in a weekend. His blankets, I don't think, are as big as mine either. Um, but I can't just sit and do that. So anyway, I didn't get done. Move-in day was yesterday, and on Saturday. Today is Sunday, the 20th, I think. Um, I didn't have the fourth one completely done, and since I made one blanket for each girl, but my granddaughter wanted something that they could all um, cuddle up in together, I decided through a process that I would button them together. And then at the end, or individually every night, if they want to button up together, they can. If they don't, they don't have to. But the college that they're going to is, as I said, Case Western Reserve University. So I had my daughter-in-law who does some work with resin. I had her make me buttons that have the letters CWRU, and she coordinated them to the blankets. And I didn't have the button sewn on, and I didn't have the border completed on the fourth blanket by yesterday morning when we went to move Chloe in. So next Sunday, the girls are getting them. But this Sunday, you get to see them, one with buttons on it. I'm sewing the buttons on in with I don't sew. I mean, I have dabbled, but I don't know the proper terminology. But this is a clear thread. It's polyester, maybe. It's like fishing line. It reminds me of thin fishing line. I probably could have gone to the tackle box and gotten some. So I was trying to sew the buttons on last night, and I got one blanket with buttons on it. The invisible thread is invisible. I was having a really, really tough time trying to see the clear thread in the dimness of my living room. And I turned on every light, including the overhead light. But all of my lighting in the living room has like an amber color shade. So it's still dim. And as bright as I could make it, I could not see. I could not see. And I struggled and struggled and struggled. And finally I said, I'm done. I'm not doing this. I have all till next week, because next Sunday, like 4, 5, 6, something like that, and the girls are all going to be there. We've already made a plan, and they're going to be there, and they're going to get their presents. Only one of the girls besides Chloe out of the 4, 2 of them have no idea. One of them knows that they're getting these blankets, but they don't know what they look like. Chloe does, but the other girls do not. So, do you want to see? So I finished, the last one to make was the blue one. Now, this is what the pattern looks like. The thing I did different from Mikey's pattern is you start it, so the beginning is the same, not the border, but it's like 3 rows of double crochet and then some V-stitch and then double crochet, and that's the whole repeat, is double crochet rows, then V-stitch rows. Well, when I was looking at it, I'm like, I didn't like all the double crochet. I wanted more texture. So I did front post, back post crochets here in the center section, which, looking at it this close, it might look a little busy, but I wanted the ridges here. So I did 1 row of double crochet, and then I did a treble crochet in whichever post would make the ridge, and then another row of double crochet to make the 2 rows of ridges, so that it gets that little extra. The camera doesn't bring it out as much. It doesn't look as busy when you're looking at the blanket from just the whole blanket. Here it looks a little busy because I held the Super Saver ombre together with a white Craft Smart. One skein is Big Twist, but all the rest of them are Craft Smart. And so then each one got a border with the, you know, the coordinating color in solid, but I held 2 strands of that together as well. So this is the only blanket that has the letters on it, the buttons, if you will. And this is what it looks like with the button. Might not be exactly perfectly whatever, but so it's C, W, R, and U. And I love it. Now I will, my daughter-in-law has an Etsy or a website or something. I will put it in the description box below. She does have a business card, which I forgot it. So I'll take a picture of that and put it at the end of the video. So if you wanted to have buttons made by her, I will promote her a little bit and tell you, you know, how to get a hold of her. But she designed, you know, I told her what I wanted. And if you look at the button close, it's a sparkle. Can you see the sparkle in there? So the white is sparkly, and then the letter is not. I don't think. No, the letter, or maybe. You know, it's not that thick. No, I don't think the letter is sparkly. And anyway, I don't know what you do to make these, but she did a great job. And then the girls can just, you know, so if you wanted to button it, all the letters are going to go down the left side. So they'll have to sit to the left to button. But if they wanted to, I think they can like throw it over their shoulders even if it's just like wear it like a Ruana. And then they can just push it through the hole and button it together. And if they're on the couch, everyone curling up together, they can just button to the next one. And then they'll have a keepsake for when they're no longer at college this year. They'll have the keepsake blanket, and they can keep the buttons on it or they can take them off. You know, it's their blanket. They can do with what they want. So this is the completed blue one. I love it. I think it's very soft and squishy, but it's got holes in it. I used a 12mm hook, and you know, like I said, held 2 strands together of worsted weight. The Super Saver Ombre in the blue is the Scuba, and I used all the yarns are made in the U.S. Super Saver Ombre is now made in Turkey, and there's a big difference in the colors. The color names are the same. The Scuba in blue is still Scuba in bright blue, and it's pretty, but it's not as bright as the Super Saver Ombre made in the U.S. Very disappointing in that, because this is really, it's a nice yarn, and making it by itself looked beautiful. You got a lot more of the ombre, but you can still tell the ombre, you know, in here. You can still see that it's ombre. Even with the white mixed in, it's not as noticeable as if I was doing it without the white mixed in, but it's squishier, and the squishy won out. I wanted it more squishy than ombre. And I love it. But if you're going to use Super Saver Ombre for any project, just make sure that it says on the ball band, if it's made in the U.S., there's a flag on it. I'll show you. Excuse me. Well, I'll just set it on the bag since I can't seem to squish it into the bag. So, excuse me again. So if it's made in the U.S., it does have a flag on it. If it's made in Turkey, I don't think it has the American flag on it. I mean, I know it doesn't have the American flag. I don't know if it has a flag at all of any, you know, Turkey or whatever. Excuse me again. Gosh, I had a frog in my throat. So the blue that I used for the border is Mainstay, which is Walmart's yarn. And I don't think they really have a color name on any of their yarn. But I still had to hold 2 strands together. So I have like one skein used out of 2. Because I could have gone from the bottom and the front up, you know, inside, outside at the same time, and probably just ended up with 1 skein of yarn left in a complete skein. But the first one I didn't know if I was going to need more than 2, you know, more than how much I was going to need to go around. But I figured I would pretty much use up way more than I did. And so that being said, I have 2 half skeins of all the colors of the, you know, I did that with all 4 blankets. So I have 2 half skeins of the solid colors for all 4 blankets. But that's okay. And the white that I use mostly is the Craft Smart from Michael's. This is Michael's yarn. And this is what's left over of a lot of skeins. And I'll go through that in a minute. And then the Super Saver Ombre in the Scuba color is... I have to have a partial ball of it somewhere. Interesting. It must be in the bag with all the other partial balls. Because I know I didn't use it to be completely 100%. You know what? I started a 3rd one and it's in here. So one of these is not complete. One of these is a little bit short. That's what had happened. What had happened was to go through 7. So the yellow one you did not see with a border on it because I haven't showed it to you since. But this is the yellow. And these don't have buttons on them yet. I'm going to sew them on today or throughout the week when it's brighter than versus when I have to sit in the dark to do it. I might have to sit in here because my living room does not get as bright as sitting here with the windows open. And I know my color, you know, it's a little dark over my face, but the sunlight will be easier for sewing the buttons. So this is the yellow and it's called Sunny. And I don't remember which yarn this was. You know what? It was a Red Heart Super Saver bright yellow or something. This is a Red Heart Super Saver, the yellow. I don't have that with me, but I'll show you the buttons that coordinate with each color. Because they are here in my bag. So the yellow are, they're pretty. I mean, and they look really nice, but they are, yeah, it's harder to see because it's yellow and white, but this is what it'll look like. You can still see. I love the yellow one. It is so bright and cheery. They all are, and that's what the girls wanted when I asked Chloe, and her one friend was with her, and they said, you know, bright. And we went in and Chloe's room is done and all decorated and looks gorgeous. And I'll take pictures. She's got little mini lights up and stuff that she needed batteries for. So stay, don't fall. I'll take pictures when I'm there on Sunday and the whole apartment area is done. Their dormer is really nice. They have 4 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, a living room that's just for them, and a kitchen that they share with 5 other girls. So 9 girls to 1 kitchen. But then there's community kitchens in the dorm. But it's like a funky setup, if you ask me. They have like a 4-bedroom living room kitchen apartment on 1 floor, and then 4 girls live on the second, or 5 girls on the 2nd floor above them that share the kitchen. They have their own bathroom and bedrooms upstairs, their own living room upstairs. But this isn't a big dorm, like apartment looking complex. So the girls that live upstairs have access through a stairway in the apartment to come downstairs to use that kitchen. but they also have hallway access upstairs to their bedrooms. So they don't have to like come in through Chloe's, through this first floor entrance to go up to their rooms. They don't have to come in and like tramp through their living space to go up to their bedrooms. They only have to come into the to the downstairs level if they want to use the kitchen. So that's cool. I don't know. It's that whole 2 entrance separates the 5 girls upstairs and the 4 girls downstairs is like separate apartments, but yet they share a kitchen. So that's kind of strange. But anyway, it's cool. And I'm sure they'll all have a great time together this year. This is the pink one. And this, I believe, was a Super Saver as well, the border. And I'll just show you one of the buttons. So that's what the button will look like on it. Didn't she do a great job matching the colors? I think it's just fabulous. And I don't remember, pretty in pink maybe is the color. I think it's a Super Saver. I mean, I know it's a Super Saver. And then this is the purple one. Of course, this is my favorite color, is this dark purple. And purple is my favorite color, but this like dark purple is really my favorite purple of the purple shades. And this is, these purple buttons want to stick for some reason to each other. This is the purple button. It matches more this color than this color, but still matches. So that's that one. And this one was a Bernat yarn that I got at Ollie's on clearance. So this is what the blankets all look like. I will put a picture of them laid out on my couch, kind of overlapping each other to see the colors together. I'll put a picture of that in here, like up here somewhere, so you can see how they'll look, give you an idea of what they'll look like on the girls' couch. But like I said, next week I will take pictures with the girls, providing they don't mind. But definitely pictures with their blankets in their dorm room. That'll be so cute. So just so you have an idea, I used over 9,000 yards of yarn for these 4 blankets. I have 20 ball bands of completely ended yarn. And this totaled over 8,000. But then I had the 4 border colors that I used, like 1 skein each, and a little bit left of one of the whites. The white total is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 skeins of white, completely done, plus a 13th skein that I started. And then 8 skeins completely done of the Super Saver ombre, 2 for each blanket, and a little bit into a third for most of them, except the pink one. And I think that might be because I didn't go into a third one. I didn't even finish 2 skeins in the white. And I'm not 100% sure why, but the only thing different from the white one, and the pink one, than the other 3, is that the first skein of yarn I used in the pink one, the first skein of white I used was Big Twist, which has a little bit more yardage on it than, I think, yeah, the Super Saver, or the Big Twist, has 380 yards, and the Craft Smart has 354 yards. So I can't see that amount of yardage would make the huge difference, but this yarn was just a little bit thicker. So that's the only thing I can see that would be why in the pink I didn't go into the third skein. I have a little ball like this big left of the second skein, and that's the only thing I can think of, because that's the only thing different out of all of them. I used the 6mm hook, I mean the 12mm hook. You know, sometimes your tension is a little, but throughout the course of making all 4 blankets, I think it would pretty much even out. So I have to assume that it is because of the Big Twist being in one of the balls. Now this is going to go, I already logged all of this yarn into my log. I have Per Lala my good friend Laura at Mad Mimi's Crochet and Farming, I started logging in the computer all the yarn that I use. She is very organized with her yarn. I mean, she doesn't look like she'd be an organized person. I love you to death, Lala. But we all know. We always tease her that she has the mentality of a 12-year-old boy because she is the rowdy, fun one of the group. And she likes that. She works at being the crazy one. But she's very organized. And she has a computer program that she uses, you know, like a spreadsheet. Excuse me again. And she logs all the yarn that she takes in. She gets yarn in and it goes in this log and she bins it or stores it. And she puts in there what yarn it is, what color it is that she's gotten in, how much yards, how many skeins of it per color, and where she stores it. She frequently has it stored in bins and then up on a shelf. I think now in the madhouse she's got shelves of bins. And so she logs every yarn and where it goes, like in the bins or shelves or wherever she puts it, and how much of it she has. So if she displays some, like she gets in a dozen, let's just say she puts one out and she puts 11 up in a bin, she's got that all logged. One here and 11 up there. And which bin it's in. And she knows right where to go to get it. And when she uses it, she takes it off of that log and she puts it onto another log and says she used this much. She knows how much at any time, how much yarn she's used, what yarn she's used, what project she used it for, how many projects she got out of it. She is so good with that. I'm like, dang, girl. Way too much work for me. Way too much organization. Way too much time. I would be so overwhelmed with trying to keep up with that. I used to be a little more meticulous, and maybe I would have been better at that when I was younger. But now I'm like, too much like work. But she's got it down to a routine, and so she knows what she's doing. I can't keep up with keeping my stuff logged in a book. I have a book. I haven't used it in a little bit. I don't know where it is right this minute. It's somewhere, not too far away. But I haven't put any of these blankets in my a yearly log book of projects. I haven't put any of these blankets in there. I did put the amigurumis that I made earlier in the summer, the little ones, and then I started on these blankets. I think these are the only things that aren't in there. Maybe. We'll see. I don't know. When I find it, I'll let you know. So anyway, that's what I have for this video on the blankets. We'll do a catch-up and pictures after this video next week. And you can see the girls get the blankets. Hopefully you can see them with their blankets anyway. I'm not going to video them, excuse me, and put them on the spot with opening their bags because they're going to go into big bags because they end up being a pretty tall blankie, you know. But they're soft and squishy, so that's worth it. And I don't want to put them on the spot and say, oh, I want to video you for my friends on YouTube. But I will take pictures as long as the girls are okay with that, and I will put them in a video next week after they get their blankies. And I have all the buttons sewn on. Wish me luck with that project. So I will see you guys in the next video. I am making a video after this because, like I told you at the beginning, I start chatting and now we're 30 minutes in and I've just gotten through one set of projects. But I had a lot to talk about with this. So I will link the pattern. It is a tutorial. I'm writing this down so I don't forget. My good friend Laura will be linked in the description box below, because if you don't know Laura, oh my goodness, you have to go see her. She is a hoot. And I say that because she has chickens and a rooster. And his name is Crowley. And he's a little bit on the noisy side sometimes, which is really cool to hear him crowing in the background. It's not something, I'm a city girl, not something I hear often is a rooster crowing, so I enjoy it when he's mouthing off in the background. You don't hear the chickens too much, but she does show you her chickens. And she lives in Alaska. She will show you Alaska, which is very interesting if you don't live there. So anyway, if you don't know Laura, go check her out. And I also have another friend, Jan, that lives in Alaska, an Alaskan crafter, Jan. And I'll link her too because she also shows you Alaska, which is very cool. And she shows you her crochet as well. I mean, Jan's wonderful. I love her. She's my sister. And you should check them both out because they are both a lot of fun and interesting, and they have beautiful crochet work. So check out the Alaskan ladies. They're with Seta too. Seta from Seta's Places in Alaska. I'll link her if you don't know Seta. I think you've not been around too long. But Seta is wonderful. And she's also in Alaska. So you guys, I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, sharing, liking, subscribing, all of those things. And I'll see you next time. Bye. Oh, I forgot. If you're still here. I forgot I wanted to say or ask or... So I have like 2 skeins each of the Super Saver ombre colors left from the blankets. And I was thinking I wanted to make maybe something for the girls in those colors, their colors. Like maybe an amigurumi, which I could find amigurumis that could be multiple colors. You know, you could make a cat or whatever. But to make an amigurumi that's going to be 2 skeins of yarn big, because there's 750-ish yards on a Super Saver ombre. That's a lot. I don't want to do big. Or maybe make them a sweater for the winter, because that's coming up, and give them to them for Christmas, like make Christmas gifts out of them. Or do you think that's too much? What do you think? Or should I just put the yarn in my stash for another project at another time? Super Saver Ombre is a nice yarn, and I'm sure that it softens with wash, and the college students, they're not going to like, I will tell them they have to wash on gentle, and they may or may not do that. You know, laundry isn't their top priority. They want clean clothes, but do they want to separate? Do they have enough to separate and say, oh, these are going to go in gentle cycle? Probably not. But anyway, I'm like looking for suggestions. I do have at least pretty much 2 skeins each of the colors. The girls are all tiny. Chloe is the biggest one, and she's small to medium. And the other girls are medium to small, or even extra small for one of them. So I would love to make them sweaters, I think. I'm really not a sweater maker. If you guys have watched my videos, there's not a lot of clothing that I make that like actually fits people. At least I've never made much that fits me well. I have made a sweater for Chloe once that ended up too big, and Amanda wore it. But I have made a sweater for Amanda, cardigans. I can make cardigans. But I don't know if the college girls would wear these bright colors as a sweater. Maybe they would. And I don't think they do like shawls. Like I don't want to take my time to make something that they're not going to like. Maybe I need to really talk about it with Chloe too. But suggestions would be helpful. If you could think of things that, like I have close to probably 1,500 yards per color. Suggestions would be helpful. I already made blankets, so we're not going down that route again. So anyway, I wanted to throw that in. I knew I was going to forget to mention that and ask for your help, because I got so excited about just being done with these blankets, I guess. So anyway, if you have any suggestions, college kids, not a lot of space, winter is coming, so sweater wouldn't be a bad idea. I'll have to ask Chloe to think. Chloe would never. I'd be really shocked if she would wear the bright pink. She's usually a very neutral, muted, don't look at me kind of apparel. I know for sure because I put all of her clothes in her dresser, and there was not one bright pink. Even though she told me to make her the bright pink blanket is for her. And when I asked them like what colors to do, they said bright colors for the blankets. But that's not something they're wearing around campus. So anyway, any suggestions would be helpful. Thanks for sticking around this long. Now really and truly I'm out. See you, bye.